I remember when I first applied for the job that I'm currently sitting in, the requirement was a 4-year degree or an interesting story. And man, I just love that. Again, it goes back to humanizing the brand.
Yeah, it's super cool. And it goes back, Expel is so big on hiring for traits and curiosity and things that looking for people that are willing to learn and put in the effort and are excited by the space. I mean, cybersecurity, you have to be a lifelong learner to be in this industry because we're not done. We're never done.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of Meet the Expletives. I'm here with Brooke McClary, Senior Communications Manager here at Expel, who's going to be talking to us about her career journey, her day-to-day, all of that jazz. Brooke, glad that you're on with us. Welcome.
Pleasure to be here, Ben. Thanks for having me.
Oh, a pleasure. All right. First off, just a super simple one here. Introduce yourself, kind of give us a brief overview of kind of your career journey and how you got here to Expel.
Yeah, absolutely. I have been at Expel for about 3.5 years now, but before that, I had attended Elon University, no relation to Musk, I promise. And I studied communications. So fresh out of school, I then found myself at a PR agency. They specialized in B2B technology, and I went straight into the cybersecurity practice group there. And for anyone that's worked at an agency, that's a great way to cut your teeth. You learn a lot really fast. It's pretty exhausting, but that was my first foray into security. From there, I did a bit of a 180 and went and worked for my local government, the business improvement district there. Still doing a lot of the same communications, marketing, but learning a lot about the consumer side. Which is a really interesting juxtaposition because there's a lot of similarities, but obviously a whole lot of differences.
What kind of drew you to Expel? What's your favorite part of working here?
Well, so someone that came from sort of communications marketing background, I have always loved to write. And so the messaging was a big factor for me, as I'm sure it is for a lot of people. The first thing you see when you look at a website for any job is how they talk about themselves. And if you've looked at any other cybersecurity company, it's a whole lot different than the way Expel, our voice sounds. It's a lot more human. You can tell that there are people on the other side generating that content, and it feels a lot more real. And I think that really reads true from everything in the job postings to now on the other side, what we say internally. And so I think that was just such a shock to my system to see A, the voice was so human, and then B, the way they communicated about treating their employees and, how important the human aspect of the job was. And I think that's certainly proved to be true, but it was just such a stark difference to not only any other cybersecurity experience I'd had in the past, but really any other job experience. It was such a people first approach to it that I was pleasantly surprised to see and happy to know firsthand that it rings true still.
That's so true about the humanity of the brand. And I think the advantage that we have at Expel is that Expel's an MDR. And so in a lot of ways, our people are our product. And so being able to put their stories front and center is kind of, it's implicitly plugging our brand in a way, All right. So we know your title. How would you describe a day in the life of your role as a senior communications manager?
I'd say my day typically starts. So I oversee the day-to-day management of both our US and UK based PR teams. So a lot of my day is spent navigating those time zones. I typically start with a check-in on our London-based team, make sure nothing broke in the middle of the night, any comments, anything we need to react to quickly. It also has a lot to do with the news cycle du jour, which, as we all know, is pretty rapid within cybersecurity. I will do a news scan first thing in the morning, see if there's anything featuring Expel, check in on what our competitors are up to, and then also see if there's anything breaking that we might be able to insert Expel into the conversation. We avoid ambulance chasing at all costs. We are not commenting just to comment. We are really interested in inserting actionable, helpful insights into the conversation, which is also a difference I haven't really experienced that at a lot of other companies, where your biggest priority is just to get your name out there. We really are doing so in the interest of helping the operator community, which is a really cool thing. I don't know that that's true at a lot of places. We get a lot of opportunities to check in with our threat analyst team, with our threat intel team, with our SMEs, our leadership. And that's kind of the best part, the fun part, where we get to sort of pick their brains on what's going on, what they're seeing out in the wild, and then develop any sort of proactive angles or outreach that we can go with that is affecting people right now.
You mentioned threat intel and how you have a hand in sort of helping get their voices out there. That is obviously an area at Expel that we're looking to sort of build out and grow. Like, what kind of what excites you about where we are in terms of our threat intelligence arm at Expel, and what do you enjoy about working specifically in that area?
Oh, I love that question because I am so amped about our threat intel team. It's never been in a better place because we're finally growing it. It's in a strong position where our analysts have the support and hopefully growing support that they need to thrive and do the work that they enjoy. I think as, a PR person, my job is to amplify the voices of the people that know what they're talking about, the people that are in the weeds day to day. And we're so lucky to have some truly interesting folks with not only, day to day on the ground experience, but they have such varied backgrounds. They come from all walks of life, doing all kinds of different jobs. And so to help them also build their personal brands and get their voice out there, I think we're in a really strong position.
It is a cool time. I agree. It's the thing about varied backgrounds and people coming to the table with different life experiences. Obviously, that is important for, having different perspectives and trying to get at the head of the attackers it's important, and it's important to have these very diverse backgrounds. One of the things that drew me to Expel, I remember when I first applied for the job that I'm currently sitting in, the requirement was a 4-year degree or an interesting story, I think. And I just love that. I love the line or an interesting story. And obviously there are some more technical roles where, you need more, but like when I think about, when I look at the job descriptions for a lot of our go-to-market functions and even like our SOC, like a lot of our SOC analyst roles, that's what it says. It says, show us your credentials or tell us your story. And man, I just love that. Again, it goes back to humanizing the brand, it's great.
Yeah, it's super cool. And it goes back, Expel is so big on hiring for traits and curiosity and things that looking for people that are willing to learn and put in the effort and are excited by the space. I mean, cybersecurity, you have to be a lifelong learner to be in this industry because there's no we're not done. We're never done. There's something new every single day. Everything's breaking, everything's new and exciting technology wise. So if you're not the kind of person that's excited by that opportunity, then it's probably not for you, I'll say. But it is such a cool place to be where they recognize that you don't have to come to the table with every single certification to know that you're someone that can learn those things if you're motivated to do so.
So congratulations, you've recently been named a rising star woman in PR. Can you tell us more about that and what it means to you personally and professionally?
Yeah, it means the world to me. So I was nominated in secret for the PR News Rising Star Award by my manager, our director of comms, Andy Roger, and our senior director of comms, Amanda Todd. So just the nomination, that is the award in and of itself, but winning is icing on the cake, to be sure. It's really cool to be up there with a lot of amazing women in the industry. I happen to know a few other winners personally. So it's truly an honor to be honored alongside other women that I know are doing such amazing work, no matter the industry, size of the company, whatever. It's a tough space that we're in. It's competitive. There's a lot of competition far and wide. So I'm very excited by this.
All right. So we usually round out these interviews with something that we like to call the very important question. We have this thing, a lot of weird traditions here. And one of them is we start or end or, whatever. Some of our meetings with these very important questions, which are obviously very, very important. And I have said question here in my trusty Expel mug.
Oh boy.
It's a great mug. I love, fancy mugs like this. So I have a question right here. I'm going to unfold this
Hit me.
question and ask you this very important question. All right, here we go. Brooke McClary, what ridiculous thing would you add to the Olympic Games if you had absolute power over the committee?
What ridiculous thing? That's a great question. Solo sport or team?
It's up to you. Interpret however you would like.
Then I'm going to go. I moved to the beach a couple years ago and haven't looked back. So I'm going to go sandcastle construction.
Sandcastle construction.
Yep.
Yes. Can you imagine the masterpieces that we would see? That would be.
It's kind of beautiful. It's fleeting, it's not going to last forever, but it's a moment in time, and that's a metaphor in and of itself.
There is something poetic about this, and it's that is fantastic. Maybe they can be maybe we can time it can be time bound, and
obvious, yeah.
You could do a lot of interesting things.
Team, individual, it's truly an untapped market that no one has asked me about, but they should.
It's an excellent answer. All right, Brooke. Hey, appreciate you coming on and talking to us. Always great to hear the stories of fellow expletives. And until next time, folks, we'll talk to you later.